Well, good afternoon, West Ham fans. It's Russ on the West Ham Network. Let's try and predict the starting 11 for the game in a couple of hours' time, shall we? Let's get into it. A very, very good Monday to you. God, we're getting used. We've got Monday again next week as well, aren't we? I don't like it. I don't know if I like these Monday games, although we have a very good record when it comes to Monday games. I think we've only lost one Monday game in something ridiculous. But anyway, we welcome Wolves. I've already done the match day morning, afternoon, lunchtime thing. I've had to come back to do this and then going back to spin the tunes at the London Stadium. We are on the road to Christmas, so don't forget, in association with our friends at the santaco.co.uk, you can get your little ones their letter from Father Christmas all set up. Only takes a day or so if it's come through the post, so you can do it all, relatively last minute as well. All personalised, not on a stock thing. And West Ham Network viewers get a discount, 30% discount. So it's only the basic package, only like £6 then. Bargain, 6 or 7 quid. All you got to do is put in West Ham Network at checkout, and then obviously that lets the people at the Santa Co know that you guys are enjoying the promotion, and that's it. So anyway, let's get into it. The starting 11. Now we know there's players not playing. From our side. We know Mikel Antonio clearly, and we wish him a speedy recovery from his operation on his broken leg. Horrific, wasn't it? Horrific on Saturday. But we wish him all the best. And someone was looking down on him, I'm sure, because you saw the state of that car. He was extremely lucky to be out that alive, to be honest. So we know Mikel won't be playing, obviously, for the foreseeable future. At least a year, they are predicting at the moment. And then, according to Premier Injuries, Danny Ings has a knock and he's rated at 50-50. And also, Jean-Claire Todibo has got a black eye. No, Jean-Claire Todibo has a groin/hip/pelvic injury. Very precise. And he is apparently facing a late fitness test today as well. So that's going to be fascinating to see, based on everything we've been led to be believed that's happened with, what's been going on behind closed doors, so to speak. Whether that's anything there, we can only find out. Wolves have got 6 out, apparently. They've got Jensen Mosquera, Enzo Medina, he's not available. Sasa Kilicic, he's not out to the new year. Bubakar Traore, he's out until Boxing Day. Nelson Semedo, he's suspended. And Pablo Sariba, he is having a late fitness test on some tight calf muscles. There we go. But what about West Ham? So it's going to be an interesting one, I think. It's going to be an interesting one. And the reason is because I'm not sure who we're playing up front. If Danny Ings has got a knock, that's one thing. I don't think he would risk starting Nicholas Füllkrug. We know he came on towards the end, scored. Yes, he's had another week, but he hasn't played for 3 months. So I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't see Nicholas start. Okay, let's get to it. I think in goal, Fabianski. I don't necessarily think he was to blame for anything necessarily at the game against Leicester. I think he reverts back to his normal back four, not this stupid one he had last week. So Wan-Bissaka, Emerson on the left. I think it's proven that, Emerson's a better left back than Wan-Bissaka is. I just think he offers a lot more and he has natural width on the left-hand side and will go round people on the left rather than necessarily cut inside all the time, which is natural when you've got a right-sided left-back. Well, interesting enough, when we talked to Slav about that, he says it's easier for a right-back to play on the left than it is for a left-back to play on the right. There you go. Never knew that. Against his old club, Max is in, clearly, having played every minute so far in the Premier League and started every game. Of course, he's played every minute, bloody idiot. Now, the right-hand side, it's either one of two, isn't it? It's either Mavropanos or it's going to be Todibo. I think if Todibo is fit, I believe everything has been forgiven from what was said and done and hit allegedly against the Arsenal game. So we'll see, we'll see. But obviously, we know the pressure on this game for both managers, really, for both head coaches. The likelihood is, I think whoever loses tonight is sacked. And that's the truth, isn't it? Really, Wolves are having a torrid time at the moment, and they're not happy necessarily with Gary O'Neill. We're having a torrid time with Lopetegui, and we're not necessarily happy with him either. So, I think whether that results in a cagey game or whether that results in a we need to win game, I don't know. I'm more on the verge of thinking it's going to be a cagey game, just because no team can afford to lose. Now into midfield. Obviously, everyone's fit really in midfield. We've got Kudus back. We've got lots of all the players back, which is fantastic. And the reason it's an interesting one is that there's so much. I mean, the fact is we've got everyone, and I just don't know what way he's going to go. In all honesty, there's so much. And I think and again, one of those situations where if we don't know what's going on, I don't think how can possibly the likes of Gary O'Neill know what's going on. If that makes sense. So I don't know. I'm gonna assume again, and what they say, assume makes an ass of you and me. But I'm gonna assume that he goes with. Well, he needs the win, doesn't he? He needs the win. So I think it's Alvarez. I think it is Mr. Potato Salad himself, because he's one of those players who you always get on just because he's always there good for a goal. Always good for a goal. And then I think we see, hopefully, the Lucas Paqueta we saw against Newcastle, because he was outstanding. We can move these out a little bit like that, but and then for me, and then hopefully he does what he should do and actually play it almost like a bit like that, a bit like this, really. Just Alvarez watching that Elvis documentary. Alvarez just sitting in front of the back four. That's all he needs to do, and he could be one of the best in the Premier League at doing that if that's all he just does. You know what I mean? And then allow Souček to come in and get the knocks down, because I don't think we're going to have much physicality up front. I would assume, and again, this is assumptions. I would assume it would be Skip Bowen. It would be, and it's not my preference, but it would be Kudus on the left hand side, and then probably where's he gone? There he is. Oh, I've already put him on. Well, Danny just turned up. Ings in the middle. Just of the sheer fact, obviously, we know Antonio's not going to be playing for you may never see him in West Ham shirt again. His contract runs out in the summer as well, same as Danny Ings. Now, he could risk the fitness of Nicholas Füllkrug. However, with the injury to Antonio, he very much is our only talisman for the next 4 weeks. So I wouldn't be surprised as a plan B or plan C. And again, not my preference, but because I don't really like Bowen up top on his own. Something like that. And or personally, I think Kudus would be more useful in the middle, or even potentially what they could do is they could put Bowen there, Paqueta there, and Kudus off him, or even now stop the pitchforks, or even that as like a false nine. Now, people said, "What about putting in someone from the youth team?" I don't really see anyone of the youth team personally who's got the physicality to play that role. Cam Schweier, no. Callum's out on loan. Josh Ajala, not strong enough in my opinion. Gets bullied at under 21 level, so he'd get bullied, particularly someone like Craig Dawson or someone today. You probably will see a combination of those five of Bowen, Souček, Somerville, Kudus, Paqueta, those five taking turns to play up front. Actually, if you remember one of the last games, I think it was the what was it? Was it the Arsenal game? Was it the Everton game? Most of it, Somerville was playing almost as was playing up front, and Antonio drifted onto the left hand side. That could be an option. But this will be interchangeable with this five. I don't think they'll risk Nicholas Füllkrug. Just don't think they'll risk him because we've got a lot of games coming up. We've got Brighton, you got Bournemouth away next week. I think you'd be likely to see Füllkrug start for maybe the Bournemouth game, potentially. Because then you've got the Bournemouth game, and then we've got Brighton at home, and then we've got Liverpool, and then the transfer window opens. And then that needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed. We're now even lighter up front. Yes, you've got the potential of Luis Guilherme. He could obviously play up as well. But I think for me, Guilherme is best on the right or as a 10, sort of the deputising for Kudus. I think we've got enough there to cover that. It also means we, in one of these sort of wrinkles in sort of time and wrinkles in opportunity, it means we can't rely on Michail Antonio now. We can't rely on that physicality. We can't rely on that easy ball. The easy ball which would go down the channels for him to run onto. We have to play differently. We have to play with different intensity. Nicholas Füllkrug is not Michail Antonio. They're very different people. So if you play Füllkrug, he's a target man. He's not going to run the channels. He's going to stay there and allow the likes of Bowen, the likes of Somerville, the likes of Kudus to run off him. And that's where he works the best. He needs assists. He's not going to run 30 yards like Mikel used to and, bully strikers. That's not him. So we're going to have to change the way we play in that respect. And it's going to be fascinating to see. Sometimes these things, obviously it was awful what happened to Mikel, but sometimes these opportunities present themselves where you've got to put up or shut up. And then we've got to put up now. We can't, press conferences, you guys say, oh, well, we haven't got Mikel. No, that's done. That's done now. He's had his operation. He's going to be recovering. It's going to take him a year before you even see him on a football pitch, at least now. We need to move on. There'll be, there'll be chance for Antonio. There'll be support coming from the crowd today, without a shadow of a doubt, because that's when West Ham fans come together, when it's one of their own. And as I was saying on Twitter, it's unfortunate these times like this, but it shows you how united we can be as West Ham United. Regardless of whether you think that Souček should be at a 10 or an 8, regardless if you think of Lopetegui's got 1 game, 4 games, no games, we all support West Ham and we all support the club and we all support our own players. And when something happens which is awful to our own players, we come out in force in support. And I have no doubt that there'll be some fantastic chanting for Mikel, and I have no doubt 9 minutes there'll be a massive, minutes on their feet with the fans and the Wolves fans as well, because they're a good bunch of fans as well. And you've seen the outpouring from like Tooting and Mitcham and Forest and all the other clubs he's been to. So we know, as always, we wish him well, but we've been saying that on social media. I'm sure he's watching the West Ham Network Twitter feed to see the level of support from us. But it's sad that things like this need to happen, but happen, and the result is you see the community, the old West Ham, that all comes out in force when it's one of their own. Anyway, there's my piece. Right, so what do you think of that side? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to comment every day this Advent. Yeah, that's Advent. Leading up to the big day, we'll be providing winners every single day. And all you got to do is simply just comment. All you got to do. Then every day we hoover up all the comments and then we put it into the supercomputer. They pick a random winner. So we've had 7 winners already. The 8th one was announced today, and obviously tomorrow the 9th one. You know how numbers work. And yeah, follow us for the match day watch along and the review show afterwards, as per usual. I was at London Stadium a little bit earlier on, talking about the game ahead, and obviously comments and tributes to Mikel Antonio were coming through on the live chat, as per usual, as you would imagine when it comes to West Ham and won their own. And don't forget to check out the santaco.co.uk if you want to get your little one a lovely personalised letter from Father Christmas. Prices start at $9.99. However, West Ham Network viewers and friends of the channel get a discount, a bit of a discount for 30% off at checkout. If you use West Ham Network, all in one word, at checkout, you get 30% off. So for $9.99, 30% off that, you do the maths. Take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble. Keep the faith. Come on, you bloody irons.